welcome to Gaga Knits. My name's Anita and I live in South Wales in the UK, and this is where I share my knitting, sewing and other crafty adventures. You can find me on Instagram as gaga.knits and Ravelry as Anita Bulb, although I don't use Ravelry properly. I use it mainly to get patterns and see other people's opinions on patterns, but I don't update mine enough. Another thing I've got to do. I keep telling myself I've got to update my Ravelry. I hope you've had a nice week since we spoke last. I've had a very nice weekend. Today is Sunday the 17th of March, and yesterday, so Saturday, it was raining all day, as it has been every day in Wales for the last few months, it seems, and Martin had to do his marking, so I had a whole day sewing to myself. Today I'm going to share some sewing and acquisitions, well, one acquisition actually, knitting and crochet, and I'm going to do it in that order. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody who left a comment on my video last week about the fabric that I bought and had I broken my own rule. So I bought the Angel Strawbridge Potagerie fabric, this fabric here. The explanation for this fabric and the comments from last week are all in last week's video if you want to go and see. But basically, I bought some fabric when I'm on a no buying fabric ban, and you were also kind to let me off. As I say, yesterday I had a lovely day sewing. I used my new fabric and I made 2 cushions as was intended. I also had fabric left, so I have made 2 little makeup bags here, and inside I have used this waterproof fabric that I had in my stash. Here it is. So it's sort of like a fabric on the inside, and then the outside that you meant to put in the bag, you can't really tell, but it's a shiny waterproof material. So I just, because I had fabric left over, I made these 2 little bags with it, and I thought Jodie and Matthew, the boys, are coming over for lunch today, so I thought see if she wants one and then I'll have the other one just to use the fabric up. And then I have enough fabric left over, the fabric I showed you, hopefully to make 2 project bags. I do have a linen pair of old curtains in the attic, I believe, and Martin's going to have a little look for me later, and they're just cream, and so I'm going to use those to line it and maybe to put on the bottoms of the bags. So we'll see. So every scrap of that will be used. And because you were also kind with your comments last week, I bought some more fabric from Terry's Fabrics. And it's this fabric here. It's the Cath Kidston Birds and Roses. And I bought a metre of that too, this time for my mum. Now, the reason I bought this for my mum is last summer, Martin and I took our 2 grandsons, Harry and Jack, to Newquay in West Wales for a week's caravan holiday. We stayed in a place called Key West Caravan Park, and it was glorious. They had a whale of a time, really enjoyed it. We stayed in one of their most basic caravans, which was perfectly fine. We were all happy in it, and we didn't choose the pitch that you were on. You can pay extra and choose the pitch. So we found ourselves the furthest you could get away from the clubhouse, but the nearest to the beach, which suited us perfectly because that's all the boys wanted to do, was go on the beach. So every day we spent all day on the beach. The beach stretches for miles, miles and miles of lovely sand, blue sea, very shallow for a long way out. And when the tide goes out, you can walk around to the little Newquay harbour, little harbour town there, and the little shops, and just wonderful. So anyway, we had that holiday, and I don't know if you're the same as me, but if I go somewhere that I really like, I always have a look online to see how much it would cost to live there and how much the houses are and what they're like, what sort of housing property they've got or housing stock. And I always say I'd like to live in a cottage in the country by the sea. And I've found my perfect dream cottage for sale on the outskirts of Newquay. And I had a little look at all the pictures of it. It was just perfect. Loved it. Not in a position to move there, but a girl can dream. Anyway, when we came back, I showed my mum the pictures of this house, and in the living room they had some wallpaper with roses and birds and things on, and my mum said, I really like that wallpaper, and she's planning to redecorate her living room. So I said, I shall find it on the internet. There's nothing you can't find on the internet these days. Famous last words. So I looked and looked, and I know I've seen this wallpaper elsewhere. If any of you can recognise it, please let me know. But do you think I could find it? No. But I found something similar in this fabric from Terry's Fabric. So it's the Cath Kidston Roses and Birds. Would help if I showed you a bird. It's lovely. So I bought a metre of this when I ordered my new curtains, and it arrived. I took it to my mum's on Thursday. I go and visit her every Thursday. Explained that I couldn't find the wallpaper, but I bought this fabric very similar, and I thought I could make her some cushions when I do mine, or when I make mine. And she said, oh, I do like the fabric, but I don't want any more cushions. So I brought the fabric home with me, and I made myself another cushion. I made myself a lampshade, and I've used a scrap, the last scrap, to make a lavender pouch, which smells very nice. And then this piece I'm going to use to cover my little grubby, shabby looking footstool. I want to make a slip cover, and I think I have enough fabric here to do that. I haven't had enough time to do that yet, so I'm going to make a footstool cover with that, and I'm going to make 2, hopefully, project bags with that, so nothing is going to go to waste. And that is all my fabric and my little acquisition. Doesn't class as cheating because it's home furnishings. You said I'm allowed. And then during the week I've been working on my knitting, which is here in my little workroom crafts bag, and it is Martin's socks, and I am making the Vanilla Latte Socks by Virginia Rose Jeans. It was a free pattern on Ravelry. I think you can still get it on there. And I'm doing the 64 stitch count. It's a really nice pattern because you have a choice of cuffs, a choice of heels, and a choice of toes. So I finished the first one. I'm doing the 64 stitch count, and Martin's a size 7 foot. So here it is, and I'm using the Drops Fabel Print 4-ply in the colour 913. Nearly said free. It's a free pattern, but it's 913 colour. And there is the colour there. The colours are lovely. These are the colours he likes anyway. Sort of slubby greys and blues. And it's just, you do 6 knit stitches, 2 purl, all the way around on one row, and then a knit round on the next. And I did a 2x2 cuff. I did the slip stitch heel, although you can't really see because it's black. But it's slip stitch. And I did the round or umbrella toe. I've not done that one before, just for a change. So I'm very pleased with that. And I write all my details on these little cards, and then I put the cards away in a little file, little sort of container, and then I can refer back to them. That's the plan. Whether I'll do it or not, I don't know. So I did finish the first one, and I am that much I've done that much on the second. Still got my paper clip, and I used 24 grams of the main colour, and I've got a 50-gram ball, so I'm doing okay. And then obviously I've got the contrast, but unfortunately I couldn't match them, so they're not twins. I think you'd call them sisters, don't you, if they don't match, but they're not even sisters. They're distant cousins to each other. Martin said he doesn't mind, so that's all right. I mean, it would bother me, but I think it's not too bad, although it's the blue. So you start here at the blue, so it would be there, wouldn't it? I think because you get the navy bit the same, it might not look too bad, but it is what it is. That's all I've got. So he liked the colours, and if he wants that yarn, that's how it has to be. And then I started a crochet project, and I'm keeping this in my beautiful bag that my lovely friend Eva from Coco and Flora made for me out of the fabrics that I sent her, or some of them. And it's nice and roomy. And in here I am making a scarf. Now this, get the yarn first, because there's a story behind this too. This is the yarn I'm using. I've balled it up, and it's all purples and greens, and I think the sort of beigey colours are the actual natural fleece colour. I'm not sure, but it's gorgeous, gorgeous. It looked really nice in the skein, and it looks nice balled up. And it's from Ellie from Tithen Bryn, and I bought it last year in Wonderwool. Now Ellie has a small holding in West Wales, and she rears sheep and other animals, and it was just living the dream life, although very hard work. And she usually has a stall in Wonderwool, and I go and support her whenever I can. I always go and visit her when I'm at Wonderwool and try and buy something from her. And this is what I bought last year, and it is her rustic with alpaca sock. It's 75% wool and 25% alpaca, and the wool in it, the wool content, they're all from her own sheep. The wool is from her own sheep, is what I'm trying to say. And there is Llanwenog, Bula, and Welsh White. So hopefully will have put some pictures in of those different sheep here for you to see. So that's all mixed with alpaca, and then she sends it over to the mill to be spun, and then has it back and dyes it herself. And it is quite rough, but I'm hoping with washing it will soften a bit, because I will be wearing it around my neck. And then, so I wanted to make something out of that yarn to take to Wonderwool this year to show her what I've made. And then I was looking on Instagram, and one of the ladies I follow on there, her name is, well, on Instagram, it's Penny Offsteng. On her grid, she put this skinny scarf, a picture of her wearing a skinny scarf, and it looked lovely. And I messaged her and said, oh, I really like that. Could you let me know what the pattern is, please? And she sent me a link, so I'll put that in here for you as well. It's a free pattern, and it's from Sweet Bee Crochet. It is in US terms. Now, I'm opening the pattern, but I don't think I've printed a picture of, so I'll have to put a picture in to show you. It's very simple scarf, I want to call it a shawl, and this is what I have done so far. So it's basically trebles and half trebles. So you increase to a certain width or a number of stitches, and then you just go into half trebles. And so I'm using this little, it's a 4mm hook. It's a Pony Easy Grip. So that's quite nice, although that's quite a long way away from the hook, that metal bit, but it does help to have a thicker handle, I think. So I'm working on that. And I did, going back to my knitting, I did forget to say I'm using the I always want to call them Aldi, the Addi Sock Wonder 9mm needles in 2.5mm. I think they're 2.5. Yes, they are 2.5. And you have one longer needle tip and one shorter one, which helps when you're holding. So I haven't really got on with using these 9-inch circulars before. I am getting used to it a bit more. I still don't think it's quicker than DPNs for me, and I do tend to, well, when I was making these, obviously you're going round and round, so you've got the longer needles, that helps. When it gets to the heel flap, you can still do the heel flap on your 9-inch circulars, but you're knitting back and forth. So you are using this tiny little short one as well. That was okay. I do find them a little blunt for when you've got your slip knits and stitches. So any decreases, they're a little bit blunt for that, but you know, it's doable. I think I might, in the future, use them in conjunction with DPNs. So I might use them to do the cuff, for example, to start off, because I find the casting on with DPNs a bit fiddly. And then after that, go to my DPNs. I might do that just to use them a little bit more. I don't know. And I had those higher flyers where they were sort of a little bit like these. They had tips and a sort of wire in the middle. Got those somewhere. I'll have to dig those out. But anyway, I just wanted to say how I was getting on with those as well. So that's everything really. I've just done a lot of sewing, sewed all my little projects up, so I was very pleased with that. And I have been working on my sock in the week and cast my shawl on, or scarf, my scarf on towards the end of the week. So I'm quite happy now. I'll finish the socks and hopefully the scarf by next week. And next weekend, on my day off, I'll be able to do that slip cover and the project bags to show you. Right, it is just gone 10 and I need to go and make some sandwiches for the boys coming over because they're always hungry. I'm going to make some sandwiches. I took out a builder's tea loaf out of the freezer, one of Mary Berry's recipes, and I'm going to make some white chocolate mud cakes, some for them today and some to take into work. So I'm going to clear this away and get on with that. I hope you have a lovely week, whatever you're up to. Please leave a comment below, let me know what you're working on or if you've got any plans. Always like to hear from you. So enjoy your crafting, take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye!